Hello, I am Michael Santos with PrisonProfessors.com. My partner Sean Hopwood and I think it's really important to provide as much free information as we can so that we can help individuals who are going through the criminal justice system or family members who are really concerned about their loved ones who are going through the criminal justice system. Just yesterday, as I was running in my early morning ritual, as I generally do, I took a phone call from a young woman who was telling me exactly what happened to her family. Her brother had been taken into custody, or rather told to visit a law enforcement office. It was a police station, and the law enforcement officers began to question the individual. They initially told him, look, you're not under arrest, you're free to go at any time, but if you want to clear matters up, you can talk with us and we can see about, see if we can get a speedy resolution to this. Well, they read the individual his Miranda rights, and meaning they told him you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. But and you don't have to say anything, you can leave at any time, but the whole process is so intimidating that the individual just thought he could save himself by talking, and really what he did is get himself into a real pile of challenges where a parade of horribles are going to follow. Because what they asked him to do was to just, hey, maybe you don't remember, just kind of write out your story of how you got involved in this process, and we might be able to explain it to the judge, explain it to the prosecutor, and just get you out of this without having any type of formal sanction. Well, as a consequence of that, the individual wrote out his story, and of course that story became the basis for a criminal charge. And the lady called me saying, is there anything you can do to help us? Well, the reality is there's always something that an individual can do, but I feel really compelled to deliver as much information as I can so that people know what they're getting into and begin sowing the seeds for the best possible outcome. You see, once somebody's been brought into the criminal justice system, effectively there is a fire around them. And the most important thing that an individual can do when a fire is around them is get their family out of the house, get to safety. The only way that we can get to safety is to have a very clear understanding of what we can do. You see, nobody can change the past, but at any time we can choose to begin making decisions that will improve the outcome given the circumstances as they are. And so what I advised this young woman that she has to be thinking about is, how is her brother going to respond going forward? She was asking my opinion on whether she should plead guilty or go to trial, whether I knew a lawyer who could represent her in trial. I told her, I said, look, I'm not in the business of providing legal advice. My business is to help people understand when somebody is brought into the criminal justice system, they're facing far more than the potential of a sanction. Even the arrest can have devastating implications on an individual's career path if that individual doesn't have a solid plan. What Sean and I strive to do is help individuals at every stage of the process, whether it is determining how to respond to a criminal charge. I'm not a lawyer. Sean is not only a lawyer, he is a professor of law at Georgetown Law School, and he is an individual, as you will be able to see if you click on his biography on our website, you can see that he's got a depth and breadth of experience that really makes him an extraordinary asset to any team. But besides figuring out how you're going to deal with the criminal charge, you've got to be thinking about, what are the costs involved if I choose to plead not guilty and fight for my innocence? I can tell you that our prisons are filled with people who have agreed to plead guilty to a charge that they didn't commit, but they recognized they had to manage the downside. It's like buying a stock. When you buy a stock and you think it's just going to soar, but it starts going the other way and spinning out of control, you've got to make a decision. Is that decision to buy more and accumulate your position to lower your average entry point, or is it to cut losses, move on, and live another day? Unfortunately, 90% or better than 90% of the people who are charged in the federal criminal justice system eventually have a sentencing hearing and many of those people go to prison. So it's really important to understand what are the ramifications that surround every choice that I make. If I choose to go to trial, what is it going to cost me? I can assure you, in 1987, I went to trial because I didn't have the right guidance. I didn't make the best possible decisions. I went to trial. I spent $600,000 on my defense. Those were 1987 dollars. Had I known more about what my options were, I could have made better decisions. Just like you can make better decisions if you have more information. And we provide a lot of free information through our website at prisonprofessors.com. Just look at our blog articles where we provide all types of free information. Watch our videos, you'll get all types of free information. If you click here on the version of our YouTube channel or on any of the links on our website, you can download a free 75-page brochure with sample letters, case studies, videos that show how we help individuals who have the resources to bring us onto their team. But if you don't have the resources to bring us on your team, make sure that you are doing everything possible to understand the journey ahead. Understand what are the financial costs of going to trial. I would tell you, in the federal system, if you don't have a minimum of 50 grand, don't even think about going to trial. Unless, of course, you're going with the federal defenders. I have a lot of respect for federal defenders, but think about their asset management as well. So going to trial is a big decision with regard to your financial commitment, because $50,000, although I say is the minimum, you should probably be thinking in terms of north of $100,000 for an extensive trial. Why? Because a lawyer bills out by the hour. Sean, my partner, bills out at $500 an hour. To handle your case on a trial, you should be anticipating this is going to take hundreds of hours. So it's very expensive. There are some lawyers that are less expensive, but do they have the experience to navigate the federal criminal justice system? There are some lawyers that will lowball your fee. And as soon as you get to the end, they will, after you've exhausted your financial resources, may tell you it's time to plead guilty. My objective is to help you make decisions from the best possible perspective. Understand as much as you possibly can about how this situation is going to influence the rest of your life. Because if you can do that, you can start making decisions. You can start becoming the captain of your own ship. You can start making decisions that are going to steer you back into a port of safety, into a port of productivity and relevance and a life of meaning with your dignity intact. All of this outcome begins with making decisions from, a broad perspective, a breadth and depth of a perspective. And you need to get that by bringing on to your team experts or doing your own research. Learn from others who have gone through the system, learn from the mistakes that they have made, and learn what you can do better. Because not only is there a financial cost, there's a cost to your liberty if you go to trial. If you go to trial and you are exonerated, awesome, you know the reward, you're free. Other than the reputational damage that has been happened by being dragged through the criminal justice system. However, the costs if you lose at trial, and you got to be thinking about that juror, and I'll talk a little bit about jurors in a different segment, but if those jurors don't really understand what it means when it says United States of America versus your last name, you have got to be thinking about, well, what is your judge going to do if you've put the government to the test of going to a trial? I can tell you, in the vast majority of cases, going to trial means a sentence far longer than you could receive with a plea agreement. So it's important to be thinking about mitigation. It's important to be thinking about what options do you have. It's important to be thinking about what steps can you take to tell a story. To tell a story that will mitigate your problems or whatever they may be. We work with people who have exercised their right to a criminal trial and they've brought us on to prepare them for sentencing. They may bring us on to prepare them for prison. There's no aspect of this system that my partner and the other prison professors who work with us don't know. And not only do we know it, we know how to get through it successfully. that you can do your own due diligence. Look at my partner, former convicted of armed bank robbery, current lawyer and professor of law at Georgetown Law School, advocate for prison reform and policy reform, on the board of many nonprofits, and a speaker in high demand across the United States. You can look at my own story. I did 26 calendar years in federal prison. Came out, first job within 3 weeks. I'm an adjunct professor at San Francisco State University. We urge you to take advantage of our free content. If you're going to bring on an expert to your team, make sure that you do your due diligence on that expert. There are a lot of people in this space that got out of the prison system and fancy themselves experts, but just do your due diligence. I don't need to say anything more than use your judgment. Make sure that when you have a guide for this very serious aspect of your life, get the best, because you're about to make the biggest sale of your life, and I want you to have the best team the best team around you to help you make good decisions. So visit our website at prisonprofessors.com. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, because I will be providing a lot of these videos with insight that you can take. They're totally free, and you can get them automatically dropped to your inbox just by subscribing. Or you can drop me an email, michael@prisonprofessors.com. You can call or text. My number's all over. I'm 100% transparent, and I'm here to help you. You can follow us on Facebook, anywhere else. We are here to provide as much free information as we can, but if you want best-in-class one-on-one consulting, make sure that you reach out to our team at prisonprofessors.com. Thank you very much.